5:45. The meeting was warned for this time, and we've got a select board meeting immediately after, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:45. First order of business of the Board of Civil Authority, the town of Grafton, is to designate a polling place and time for the primary election next week, Tuesday, August 13, 2024. The town clerk has proposed holding the election here on the second floor, correct, Kim?
Yes.
With polling hours being from 9 AM to 7 PM.
Would you like a motion?
I will entertain a motion to,
So moved, as you just said.
Second.
motion by Wendy, second by Joe. Do we have any discussion of either the polling location or the hours? There being none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of designating the upstairs of the town hall as the location of polling for the primary on Tuesday, August 13th, from 9 AM to 7 PM, vote by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Next order of business is to elect a pair of JPs to deliver ballots to the ill or physically disabled who request them.
I move that Sam Matagina and Chris Wells be designated to deliver ballots.
That works for me. Does that work for you, Sam?
Okay.
You'll be available on the 13th during the day? Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Wendy, second by Joe. Discussion? There being none, all those in favor of Joe and I being designated,
Sam.
excuse me, of Sam and I being the designated JPs to deliver ballots to the ill and physically disabled next Tuesday, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Our next order of business is to appoint an assistant election officer. Being Michelle Gala.
So moved.
Motion by Joe,
I'll second it.
second by Wendy. Do we have any discussion? No brainer, she's extremely capable and experienced. There being no discussion further, then all those in favor of appointing Michelle Gala as the assistant election clerk, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Next order of business is to approve a list of ballot clerks. Kim, do you have any draft list?
I do have a draft. I have Ann Mosley, Twyla Putnam, Cynthia Gibbs, Pat Mack, and I have a call out for one more. That response. And that's what I have so far.
Okay,
And then, of course, Michelle and myself.
okay. Do I have a motion to approve the list of ballot clerks as proposed by the town clerk? Motion by John, a second. Second by Sam. Discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving the list of ballot clerks as proposed by the town clerk, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Next order of business is to approve the list of ballot counters, which is typically the full BCA and then additional supports if needed, depending on the number of ballots. Is there anyone besides Joe
Yeah, I'm not here.
who will not be here next Tuesday,
I won't.
the 13th at 7 PM?
Yeah,
Joe's the only no.
I'm on vacation.
And John,
Okay, John will be here.
I probably won't be there.
Steve,
okay, I,
then we'll need to round up.
yeah, we're gonna have to start finding, because I'm at a loss finding counters for that late at night, so. As a board, you're really gonna have to start reaching out and seeing who else you can get in your place. I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
It's the second election, I realize you're kind of vacation with
I don't have
us.
a problem, but that was my vacation day.
Yeah,
So but there's just one single ballot, correct?
No.
no, there's 3 ballots, but one to count that's gonna have, you're gonna be a progressive Republican or Democrat.
Right.
So we're gonna be splitting them.
Um, Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3,
I have one outsider to approve, and that would be Cynthia.
okay.
I think there's 6, well, you have to, you have to, you can.
Right, so
I
you
think
will-
that you thought you were carrying on to.
You will be here, did you hear from David at all? I will try and pin him down. Okay,
So that would be me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people other than Michelle. Michelle and myself, and we'd have to take the.
right, you have to tally.
We have to do the tally, 5, 6, so that would be a total of 6 I would have with Cynthia. That's not counting David, so David could be. You know, the 7th or a backup, or I can find someone to pair with him.
Typically, the progressive ballot is pretty small.
Might have one.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think the other 2 ballots, we should be able to cover them. We might be here just a little longer than we might otherwise, but I think if everyone shows all the JPs, Anna, and Kathy, are you gonna be?
Yeah. If David Riddle says he's going to come, would Pat be interested in?
Pat probably would for sure.
Okay.
I just hadn't asked her, I figured we had enough that we see it.
Yeah.
But yes, I can, if David shows up and you find out David does, then I'll get in touch with Pat.
Okay, so, the ballot counters then would be, the 4 JPs, Anna and Kathy, Cynthia Gibbs, Pat Mack. Anyone want, do we need to approve that? Or just, okay,
Because Cynthia and Pat are not a member of the
BCA, okay.
All right, I'll move that those 2 additional people, simply gives them Pat Mack, be allowed to count ballots there.
I second it. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of, authorizing Cynthia Gibbs and Pat Mack to act as ballot counters to the members of the BCA, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Do we have any other business before this board?
Yeah, just, to keep in mind, November 5th will be quickly approaching, and again, that's another Tuesday, but that one's gonna entail quite a bit. Not only have I added, I've got our normal general election, which will be, quite substantial, because every active voter is getting one in the mail by the state of Vermont. We also have our JPs on the back to count, and I'm anticipating another voting ballot for anticipated bond vote. And
Okay.
I'm working with the bond council, so if we can get the timing in right and with the board, and everything in September, we'll possibly have that to be counting also. So November will be quite a busy day and then a busy evening. That's all.
So you're asking us to get that on our calendars now,
Yeah, cause I think it'll be a
because a
long
bunch
night
of us
otherwise.
can't, but a bunch of us can't count that one ballot.
Exactly, 5 of you can't, yeah.
Right, JP's being on the ballot will not be counting those.
Oh,
Yes, who's on the ballot for the JPs? When is that decided?
This is, the deadline is the 16th, is it, to
The
get
16th
the
for-
petition
Yeah.
or nominations?
Yep, and I need all information in order for me to enter on the ballot, that's gonna go out to every registered voter is the 23rd, I have to have it entered into the system. So if I can have all petitions as soon as possible, I can get them into the system.
Is that of August?
Yes,
Yes, Yeah, of August.
So
And-
August 16th is the deadline?
The 16th is the deadline for.
To get the
nominations.
nominations from independents and town party
Yeah, they're
committees.
both, yeah. Yeah, like, party and. And, I always think, and I'll double check, that JPs are the only excused party that can count
Your own,
their votes.
okay,
Oh,
if you could
Because
follow up
otherwise,
on
they're
that.
already on the, they're gonna be on the backside of the general, so.
most people will forget it anyway.
Make sure they flip them over.
It's happened, it's happened.
And how many JPs are you voting?
There,
Always
it
five.
depends on population. For Grafton, based on our population, we're authorized 5.
And you have to have so many per party or something?
No, there's no requirement.
It's nice if you did, but there's not a requirement.
I do know there are 2 independents running. And then there'll probably be 2 or 3 from the Democratic Party caucus. Which would, if there are 3, that would mean we're not looking, but if the Republicans wanna put a couple names or however many, you can do up to 5. More than 5, you're competing with yourself, so.
And then another business, are we going to try to fulfill the position of BCA?
Yes, we will be nominating someone to fulfill the rest of the vacant term at tomorrow's caucus. When we nominate the people for the November ballot.
August till February.
Excuse me?
August till February.
Yes.
Okay.
You go to February or March?
February.
Okay,
How many are vacant?
there's one, the Seth is, he was a concurrent JP and select board member.
And it has to be approved by this, governor.
Governor, it's a
So-
gubernatorial appointment for a vacancy of JP.
So where do you get the petitions from him?
So here's what's happening tomorrow night, because Seth was a Democrat when he was a JP. Democrats are thinking about. I'm speaking, the Democrats, we all
Right.
nominated someone
Correct.
to
Um,
fill that spot.
So, and that would just be a recommendation from the town, which is the tradition. The governor can appoint whomever he wants.
How long ago was that he was a Democrat?
2 years ago, when he ran, when he was on the ballot in 2022,
Yeah,
Oh, does he change over?
he did, yes. But because he was elected as a Democrat, do we have any other business before the board civil authority? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Second by Joe. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned.